famously, you were very close to Princess Diana. But even before that, I think you played at Prince Andrew's 21st?
Yes, at Windsor Castle.
And it was terrifying because we came on stage and there was these like 10 gold chairs that were empty. I mean, you knew who they were there for, and you can't play something like that thinking, is it too loud? Are they going to like this? Are they blah, 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 blah. And I played before the royal family before, but it was still a terrifying experience.
We played and I came down, I changed, and I was in a ballroom with a band and Diana Spencer. She wasn't Prince Charles's wife.
She was all alone in this empty kind of ballroom. And we chatted and, you know, we talked about the wedding that was coming up and all that bit. And then we went into the next room where the dance band was. And
she said, do you want to dance? So, I can't dance anyway, but we did a faux Charleston.
You don't refuse someone like Princess Diana.
And then we went into dinner, and then it was a buffet dinner, and then Princess Anne said, shall we go to the disco? And I said, fine, it's the quietest disco you've ever heard. And I danced with Princess Anne thinking, you know what, I was born in a council house, this is very surreal. And then the Queen came in, and she said, can we join you? And I said, say, no, f*** off, right? And they segued into Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley, and I thought, this is ridiculous.
Oh, is she a good dancer?
She shifts around. She's pretty good. She shifts around with a handbag on her arm.
Because the Queen's going like, dun, 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 dun. And it was one of the most, to that point, surreal moments of my life, because, you know, after being born in a council house in Pinner, and you think, and remembering Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley, the odds of you dancing with the Queen at Windsor Castle were very, very long. It was considered to be a gay disease, and for someone who was within the royal family and who was a woman and who was straight, and to have someone care from the other side was an incredible gift.
Yeah, I mean, she had an energy.
Look at her face in every photograph. Absolutely. There's a positive, wonderful glow. Also, she had this incredible ability to make people feel at ease and make them feel that everything's going to be all right. I haven't experienced many people in my life that have that ability, but she could walk into a room of people and make them feel as if everything was great.
I know you and Princess Di went through a very close time and an estrangement and a close time again.
When you look back, was there one particular time when you and Princess Diana just had a ball together?
I had a dinner at my house, Windsor, and we invited about 30 people, some film stars, and Princess Diana was the guest of honor. There was one special film star that she was very excited to see, and spent the whole evening talking to him cross-legged on the floor with those Richard Gere.
I remember reading about it.
And the most incredible thing about Diana, she talked through her eyes. They're the most expressive eyes that you could possibly have imagined, and I just remember seeing her sitting on the floor, looking up on him in complete awe.
Diana, Princess of Wales, was a friend of Gianni Versace's as well as a devoted follower of his fashions. She made her way to the front row, sitting between two stars from the world of music, Elton John on her left, Sting on her right. There was much grief, none more open than Elton John's. Diana comforted him. He had already broken down as he stood earlier before the urn containing Versace's ashes. Elton John and Sting paid their own tribute to their friend, a rendition of the 23rd Psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd." It was heavy with emotion.
He was one of my best friends. I will love him forever as a person who had so much life, so much genius. And he was coming to Nice to stay with me in August. I still have his flight in my diary. I have his flight that he would come on. So for me, it's so sad, you know. And for the world, they lost a very creative, strong man, a creative genius. But for me, I lost more than that. I lost someone who I love very much. I don't think it would happen here, not in Europe. But in America, I will take more protection, yeah. it's so sad that you can't walk up the street to buy a newspaper. And, you know, I will have to take more protection. It's a necessity now.
The death of Gianni Versace was a major blow to Elton. Versace's funeral provided, however, the last meeting with Diana, Princess of Wales.
She would have, no idea how much people loved her. She had her, I'm sure, her periods of quite, desolate behavior and desolate feelings, because you go any place you go, there's somebody following you with a camera, and that's very hard to put up with. People say, oh well, that's part and parcel. Let them try it.
What do you think about the paparazzi? Are they in part to blame for this tragedy?
Of course they are.
They are.
Of
What
course.
can be done about it? Any solutions?
The actual responsibility lies with the editors and the owners of the newspapers.
Because the public isn't saying, please take a picture in the bedroom, please take a picture in the car.
I think some of these things that they publish and some of the photographs that they pay for are disgraceful.
You've had the paparazzi all over you.
Yeah, but that's hardly the same as Princess Diana. This was one of the most famous people in the world. I mean, you have the Pope, Mother Teresa, and Princess Diana.
And I don't think you've ever forgiven the paparazzi, have you?
No, I don't like the paparazzi. I don't like fame anymore. I was comfortable with it when I was younger, and I would go to the opening of wallets, and it's different when you're young. I'm 57 now.
Now she is frozen in time, forever, at the height of her beauty. How will you remember Princess Diana?
But I think of her as someone who was desperately searching for love and happiness within herself and in her personal life, and was giving everything to others, and maybe hadn't been given enough love of her own. And now she's dead. She would have, no idea how much people loved her. It's a shame that she couldn't have known that in her lifetime. Hopefully people will carry on and remember what she stood for, and remember that she was compassionate and kind, and there's not enough of that in this world.
I think originally we were talking about possibly writing a completely different song, but time was of the essence. So I suggested, I think it was me that suggested, why don't we just rewrite the lyrics to Candle in the Wind, because it seems appropriate. And so I just sat down and did it in probably half an hour.
It's been announced that Elton John is likely to be singing Candle in the Wind at part of the service. Do you think that that's a nice touch or a fitting tribute?
I think it's a very nice song for him to sing, but I wonder whether he'll be able to sing it fully, that it'll become too emotional to cope with it.
I heard you say that was possibly the only time you ever really got stage fright, in a way.
Well, it was an enormous responsibility, and I'd been singing that song for so many years as Goodbye Norma Jean, and I thought, if I don't concentrate, I had to call on all my professionalism.
I cry very easily, and in a situation like that, where one is in a church and you have a choir and there's sacred music, which I find very beautiful. She kept her cool for me at Gianni's funeral, and she held her composure. I've got to do the same for her.
Being Elton John, to pull that off, and I'm doing it for the people outside all around the world, and so I had a teleprompter just in case I didn't want to sing Goodbye Norma Jean. I'd have been garroted on the spot. And so yes, that was kind of nerve-wracking, and I pulled it off because I had to. It's like you have to man up in situations like that, and you call on your experience, and you've had so much experience, use it and do it.
People can't deliver at the toughest moment.
I'll never forget it. It was quite remarkable.
I wanted to sing it beautifully for her. I wanted to sing it beautifully for the public and for the family. And, with that amount of audience, you've got to draw on all your experience, and you have to just grit your teeth and get it and do it properly. And I didn't really, the funeral was beautiful, and I watched it when I went home. And then I kind of broke down when I watched the funeral when I got home. But I couldn't afford to do that. I'm an entertainer, and my job was to sing it, and it was to sing it beautifully for her.
It was Elton's decision to release the new version of Candle in the Wind with Something About the Way You Look Tonight, the first single from his new album, The Big Picture.
I just thought if people wanted a reminder of this, I didn't want to put it on my album because some people may not be fans of mine that may want this record. And all the money, of course, will go to the Prince's Foundation.
I don't think it's really necessarily about Elton John. It's just possessing something from that huge historical thing, you know, that event of Diana's death.
The new lyrics to Candle in the Wind don't refer to the hounding of the press as the original did, but include new words which say, the grace that placed itself where lives were torn apart.
The initial orders, the initial shipment, I believe, was 8 million copies. Manufacturers were only able to ship half, and they projected it's going to be the biggest selling single of all time. And I'd have to agree, judging from the turnout tonight.
Yes, it has been amazing. It is the fastest selling single record that's ever been in history.
The anniversary of her, her birthdays came up, the anniversary of her death, 10th anniversary soon.
No.
Will you be singing Goodbye English Rose? You said you'll only sing that at the request of the princes. Is that something you
I specifically would not like to sing it.
No.
And I've got that message to Prince William and Prince Harry. And I honestly think if I sang that, it would bring the whole atmosphere down. It would recreate something that's sad, and this is supposed to be a day remembering the joyous things about her life. And I really don't think, after singing it once, that you can sing it again.
We're such a close friend of Princess Diana's. When you see them walking down the aisle, what do you think you're going to feel?
Great joy, because the last time we were in Westminster Abbey, my heart sank when I saw those two boys walking behind the coffin. I thought that was the hardest thing. I can't imagine at that young age having to walk in the public following your mother's coffin, and the next time we're in the Abbey, it's to see him walking up the aisle with a beautiful woman and the love of his life. And I think it's the most joyous result, and I'm sure Diana would be very, very happy about it. The press are going to give you a bumpy ride. They're going to love you, they're going to hate you. I just hope they love each other enough to stay away from all that.
On Thursday, Elton John remembered the late Princess of Wales with a touching tribute. The 70-year-old music legend posted a throwback photo smiling from ear to ear with his pal, captioned, 20 years ago today, the world lost an angel.